Hey everybody,
Hey,
how's it going?
that's not my name.
Your name is everybody.
No, I'm not
You are
everybody.
everybody,
That'd be
and
ridiculous. Could you
hi,
imagine naming your kid everybody?
I'm Joe. This is everybody.
Hey guys, nice to meet you all. I'm everybody. Uh,
That's right.
secret identity revealed.
Yes.
Darn it.
Yep. No secrets here. Welcome everybody to Don't Worry Wednesday. This is a show we do on Wednesdays.
That is so
I know
true.
it's
There is
crazy.
no truth more true.
It's amazing. But yeah, this is you guys that have been here before, this is a show we handle any issues, challenges, any topics that you guys might be troubling you. You can feel free to post them in the chat. You can put them on our website, bss.studio. You can also find us on Discord, or you can send us an email, dww@bss.studio. I would recommend the email if you'd like to remain anonymous, and then just let us know that you want to be anonymous in that email. But yeah, dww@bss.studio. And also go to our studio, go to bss.studio, go to our studio, go to Ryan's studio right there.
I'm expecting people to like look up my address now.
They're going to show up. You can come to mine
Yeah.
too. Oh boy. Actually, anybody who's ordered stuff, they now know where I am.
That's true. That's interesting. That is really interesting.
Isn't that a weird thing?
How to find out your YouTuber's address. Order something in the mail from them. If they ship it out personally, you have their address.
And probably their
Hmm.
phone number too.
Yeah.
I got a phone call recently from like Littleton, Pennsylvania. I'm wondering if it was somebody who got a package and it had my phone number on there. I
Yeah,
just
they're like, oh, well,
wanted
I'm
to
gonna
see.
call Static
I
P.
want to
Yeah,
see. I want
no,
to see who that is. Yeah.
call Joe.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Jono. That see, and Jono even thanked me for the shipment, and I was like, I don't think I sent that because I didn't actually send out any of the stuff that was the Kickstarter stuff. That was all Ryan's brother Kyle that was handling that before I took over the shipping department, and we just didn't think of writing box on the box until
Yeah.
until after.
So what you
So
can do is you can custom write your own box on the box. If you just find a Sharpie or pen or whatever you want, um, you know, you can fill in the blank,
you
and
can.
its name is box. So it's pretty easy. It's three letters. That's capital B, capital O, capital X.
That's it. But
Yep.
you can do it wrong.
Box Chan. Yeah.
I was doing it wrong.
Oh yeah. It goes in a certain angle. You don't
Hmm.
want to get that wrong. You don't want to go upwards with it. You want to go down and to
Right.
the right.
I was going box in the upward angle for about the first half. Well, for probably about the first 20 or 30 boxes that I sent out. And then I was like, wait a second. And then I rewatched Life Might Take Us. And I was like, I've been doing that wrong. It needs to go down. Like it needs to go BOX, like downward angle. And I was like, oh man. But oh well, I got it fixed now. We're getting this system all together. It's gonna be great. So anyway, welcome everybody to the show. We got a great group of people here. I see you. And we also have a great bunch of topics too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have some people here that have some topics. But first of all, Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm wonderful.
Fantastic. I'm excited for today's show. It'll be a lot of fun. Um,
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
Oh, we didn't do the legal stuff.
Oh, well, go for it.
The legal. Got to do the legal. Don't forget.
Yep. Okay, legal before every show, guys. Legal, legal,
Yep.
legal. Don't sue us.
Legal, legal, legal. Yes. We are not professionals.
Correct.
The end.
There you are.
We're not professional therapists. We're not professional counselors. We're not professional doctors or lawyers or anything
Psychologists,
like that.
psychiatrists, or psychoanalytics.
We, right.
Cysts.
We're not any of that stuff. We just want to be your friend. We want to help in any way we
Cysts.
possibly can, and just love you while you're going through whatever challenge you might be going through. Most of the time, you're probably smart enough to figure a lot of this stuff out on your own, but it helps to have a little bit of perspective. And, so hopefully we can help.
Yeah.
But this show doesn't happen without you guys. So we appreciate you guys. Feel free to post any topics you have. Yeah, but we've got some folks here. I will go through the list. If you hear your name, just let us know in the chat that you're here, and we will handle your topic. So anyway, it
Yeah.
goes Royal, Sevlev, SK, Yume, or Cherry, Kendra, and Regal. That's our list for right now. So, and I see Kendra's here, and I see Regal's here, and that might be who we have right now. So,
Well, it's good enough to start with.
it certainly is. So, let's start with Kendra's. How
Yeah,
long?
keep in mind, if any of you guys feel like any of this rings a bell in your life and you want us to talk about something, put it in the chat. Princess will write it down for us, and we can do your topic today, maybe.
Yes. Jono, the queue is quite short. We've only got 6 topics in the queue right now, and 2 have people that are here. And yeah, but feel free. If you got something you want us to talk about, then throw it in there. It'll be great. But you wrote one a few weeks ago. Did you put one in the did you put it in the thing? Uh
Oh,
okay. Hopefully we didn't miss it. Did you put it in the chat or did you put it in the on the website or yeah. Oh, I'm getting a message from beyond. Did we answer it?
did we answer it already? That's a chance that we did.
Yes, or maybe we did not. I don't know.
What was the topic? Oh, what was the title of the topic? If you can tell us. Anyways, while you go look that up.
Yeah, let's start
Um,
with Kendra's while we get all this stuff figured out. So, now I'm lost. Oh my gosh. Ah, I'm on the wrong tab. Whoa. Possessiveness and creativity. Okay. I see it.
Yep, I see it. Um, okay. We can have a relook at it in case we've already done it. If we haven't done it, that's totally on us, and we're sorry.
Yep. Well, we'll start with Kendra's because we said we were going to. So let's go there, and then we'll move along.
That's right.
We'll get all this straightened out for you, Jono. You know we love you. All right. So there's a link. See, all we got to do is give Princess something to do, and then I can get the link first.
Oh,
I already sent it earlier.
she did though. She did.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, if you go to that link, click that link, you'll see a big green bar on the top, and it says Inktober Special. This is on special for all of Inktober.
Ooh.
20% off. So look that up too.
There's a lot of ink in that book, so that works really well.
Yes, it was perfect. Perfect for Inktober. So anyway, but this topic is Out of Place by Kendra and Princess. Feel free to read it when you want to.
I'll make you wait for it.
Already?
For about 5 seconds. Okay. Hello, everyone. It's been a while since I wrote on here. A lot has happened. For one, I have started a new job at a pizza place called NDP, or Next Door Pizza. So far, it's going good and the pay is good. But I really miss working at ENT, Eats and Treats. And it sucks that it's not open during the winter. I have been trying not to compare NTP to ENT, but it's so hard because at NDP, I feel so out of place, and it doesn't feel like a family unit, unlike at ENT. Also, at NDP, I always feel talked down to and don't really feel equal or welcome, when I know that isn't true. I feel like that is my anxiety talking to me. I feel like they think that they're talking to a high schooler when really I'm 24. Anyways, I've been so busy working and babysitting for my aunt that I haven't had time to try and get my Etsy art business up and going. I have a couple of friends buy a couple of posters for me, but that's about it. I haven't had the time to make my art like I want to, however. I have finally gotten myself out of my funk to make my voice acting videos on my YouTube channel. My depression for a while took over, and with this new job, it added stress and anxiety of not wanting to mess up. I'm also trying to get my Patreon for my YouTube channel up and going since I'm almost at 600 subscribers. I want
Cool.
to be able to eventually just have a small art business in my YouTube channel and not have to work for someone else. But my problem is finding time for myself so I can relax and unwind so that I don't get so tense. And I am also finding time to do the things I love, which is painting and voice acting and writing scripts and stories. I haven't been able to sleep well recently either because all my thoughts that I hold back during the day come flooding in and it just becomes overwhelming. I end up praying to God to help me fall asleep and make the thoughts stop. Eventually, I fall asleep, but I get woken up by my cat Angel. She has recently started pawing at my door, and my mom will let her in, and she will get up on my bed and cuddle me. She has never been a cuddly cat. And you try cuddling her, and she would growl and get up and leave. Honestly, I feel like she's trying to comfort me while getting comforted by me. She hasn't been doing well once again when my sister came to visit. She was doing fine, and once my sister left, she got worse, and she had stopped sleeping in my sister's room. She now sleeps in my room when she can, and it's a comfort and a worry because I worry that one day I will come home from work and she will have passed away in her sleep on my bed. Anyways, I'm sorry for that this is all over the place. I'm really starting to think I might have ADD or ADHD just because I have recently had some people point out some of the tendencies that come with ADHD or ADD. These people have told me that these are people that have ADD or ADHD or know someone with it. I'm going to see a doctor eventually about it to see if it's true or not. Thank you all for reading/listening. God bless you all. Love, Kendra.
Well, thank you so much, Kendra. Thank you for the topic. And yeah, I would definitely, if you're starting to wonder if you have ADHD, definitely a professional would be the right place to go to determine that. And then also, I used to also work at a pizza place.
Did you?
I flipped pizzas, man. It was super duper fun.
You flipped them? Huh.
Not
Well
really.
then. I know. It's a phrase.
Yeah, if I did, I got in trouble because that would
Yeah,
be
you
a
would.
pizza.
You destroy it in an instant.
But yeah, but I definitely understand, sometimes the difference between a good job and a bad job is one boss. So I don't know. I mean, that sometimes the whole culture can be different based upon who's in charge, or even based upon somebody who's not in charge, but just somebody who works there. Sometimes they can shift the entire culture of the place that you're working at. So I know that can get to be a little bit interesting, but I'm going to turn this over to Ryan and see what he has to say, and it'll be good. So thanks again.
All right. Oh, you'll be good. Oh, great. Well, let's hope so.
It'll be more than good. It'll be phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Nice. Okay. Well, Kendra, it's actually really cool. I used to work at a fast food restaurant. Obviously, it's not the same as making pizza, but it's similar. If you get a line and you work your spot and all that kind of stuff. Here's an interesting thing. I had jobs where, actually, I had one job in particular where it didn't feel like a family. It was my first job, and I was working at Taco Bell. And then I moved to another restaurant. And at that time, my attitude had kind of shifted. I had become more open. I had become, more just, I don't know, feeling good about myself and feeling good about my ability to interact with others, more confident and stuff like that, right? And what I found was when I went there, it wasn't really like it was a family, but while I was there, I could make it like one. And what I mean is my attitude set the pace for everybody else. Even though I wasn't the boss, even though I was the lowest rung of the employee ladder, right? I was able to come in there and set the pace for anybody that was working that day, because of however my attitude was. If I came in with a good attitude, generally what happened was other people would be lifted up as well. So, and even like my boss, my boss was not under me. You'd think that whoever is the leader, whoever's the boss should be the leader. They should be setting the attitude for everybody else. But that doesn't have to be the case. And oftentimes it isn't the case. Many times it's one person in the group, one person who's designated as the attitude setter. Kind of just, it becomes that way in the environment. And the thing is that doesn't, like, even if you've already been there for a couple of months, you could start now. And you'll just notice that it's different. I remember, I think what I was lucky to have experienced was I was able to join a leadership company where they taught a bunch of principles about how to treat people, how to act around them, and those type of things. And I was able to carry that into my workplace. So if you get any books on like just being a good people person, if you see any books, Joe will have a lot of recommendations here, but feel free to read those because they can help you a lot in how you react to people and how you treat people. And that will set the pace for the others around you in your workplace. And then it will start to feel more like a family because you will be respected, not because of your position. You'll be respected because of the way that you act. And it's an interesting thing, me as one of the lowest, the newest members of the Taco Bell when I was working and at the lowest rung of the ladder, right? Like the lowest pay grade and everything. I was able to come in there and after a couple of weeks, just establish that, hey, it's Ryan, and everyone's going to have a fun time. Everyone's going to have a fun time working today because I stepped in. When I came in, it was only like a month or two later that the boss of the place was like, I can replace pretty much any position, but I don't think I could ever replace you, Ryan. And I was like, that's so sweet, right? Because basically she respected me, not because of my position, but because of the way that I treated everybody and lifted everybody up. So if you want it to feel more like a family, then I don't think you can rely, if it's not already like that, like you said, you walk in there and it's not like that already, that's because no one there yet knows how to make it like a family. And if you're the only one that has experience in that field, you're the only one that's ever worked at a place where it feels like everyone's welcome, everyone's tagging along together, and it feels like a good unit, right? If you're the only one that has experience in that field that's at this place, you might be the one that has to step up and make it feel like that for other people because they don't even know it's a thing. They don't even know that that's possible. They just go to work every day and it's always going to be like that. If you can help supply that foundation of friendship, reliability, that closeness in relationship, the fun and the joy of working, and just having that great attitude, if you can spend your time there doing that, not only will you lift up the morale and lift up how quickly and the pacing of the franchise, you'll also actually get to experience what you feel like you're lacking, that family, that wholeness, that camaraderie, that just joy in the presence of each other, knowing that you're there for each other. So you're going to have to probably be the one that steps up and just does that instead of worrying about other people making that environment for you. You'll have to make the environment yourself. And that's a cool thing. That's a really, really fantastic thing to get the chance to do. You said it feels like no one really listens to anyone. I try to come into work with a good frame of mind every day, and others do joke around, but it just doesn't feel the same like it is at ENT. It also frustrates me that they seem to get annoyed when I ask where something is because I don't know the layout like everyone else does. I try to be friendly and smile and get others to smile, even if I am tired. There's one person there that makes it feel a little bit more like family, but she isn't always there. Yeah. Some people, they're hard to get a relationship with. Some people have tons and tons of walls up. And it's going to take a while for some people, and some people it's going to be a quick thing. Like they meet you, and the first time you meet them, it's automatically like, oh yeah, we bonded. Some people it's going to be like, yeah, every time I talk to this person, it's just like they're putting up a wall in front of me, and they're not even, they don't care about me at all. One thing is, in order for someone like that to care about you and to respect you, you have to care about them first. But doing that is hard to show because not everybody's the same. It's about understanding the person individually. In order to do that, you have to spend time with them. And I get that that's really hard at the workplace. Mm-hmm. If you work with somebody, try to make a conversation that's not on some people you'll get close to by making conversation that is entirely shallow. And some people you'll get close to by making conversation that is deep. So if you've tried shallow conversation, try something deep and personal. You might be surprised. They might put up a wall, they don't want to talk about personal stuff. They want to leave that away. They don't want to bring that stuff into work. Right. I've met people like that. But the thing is, the people that tend to say, I don't bring my home life into the workplace tend to be the people that I can get the closest to when I can put their wall down and talk about something deep at the workplace. When I can establish a conversation about something, maybe morals, maybe something that they're good at on a virtuous level, right? And if I can get an edge there, just any hook in that, get my hook into the wall on any brick there, the wall starts falling down, the wall starts crumbling down, and you start to feel closer to that person. You start to notice that person trusts you more because you relate to them on a deep level. And that's what a lot of people, especially the people that put up that wall against it, are usually the people that want it the most. They're just afraid because they want it the most. Does that make sense? When you want something really badly, you get even more scared at the idea that people will hate you for it. So if you talking politics, talking morals, talking religion, talking these type of things, right? These are big buttons for people because it's really close to their heart. Mm-hmm. But if you can talk about it with them and you can find things you agree on, what you end up finding is this more intimate level of relationship for this person who has all these walls up, and you notice that they start knocking a few of them down for you. And so that you guys get closer. I get that it's not like you have all the free time in the world to just do this, but in the spare moments or while you're working, you're just cutting pizzas, or whatever you're doing, you're standing next to someone in the line doing whatever, try to see if you can find ways to ask questions and get into their lives on a more intimate level. Not necessarily personal questions that obviously they wouldn't want to talk about, but just find ways to connect with them. And I get that it's hard, but I think that's the only way you're going to be able to. And I can't guarantee that it will be successful. All you can do is try, right? Some people, they are just stubborn and bitter, and they don't ever want to get close to anybody, period, at their workplace. It's just how it is. And for those people, you just have to let them be and be like, yeah, that's just how it's going to be. I've tried, and I've had success with a lot of the other coworkers, but not with this one, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. What you'll find is there's probably a way to get to know them. There's probably a way to get on their trust level, but it's not something that you can do because it's a lot of what's up to them, and they're choosing to refuse to allow you to. Mm-hmm. That's just how some people are. And for those people, you can still be friendly, and eventually you'll maybe gain their respect, but it is what it is. But I've talked for 10 minutes now or more. So I'm going to go over to Joe in case he has anything he wants to talk about on that specific topic, or like to move it along to the next of her many topics.
Yes, there's a lot to work with in this mm-hmm. post. I love it. And as far as what Ryan was saying, he's absolutely right. Some people, you can bring the sunshine with you wherever you go, and you can be like, hey, smiley and happy and enthusiastic. And I remember when it's been a long time since I actually worked with other people, because now in my job now as an inspector, I'm just in my car by myself, But I can remember the last job I had at a grocery store, I was kind of like that. I just didn't care if somebody was having a bad day or whatever. I was always going to have a good day and I was going to rub off on you, you know, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was just kind of that way. And if you wanted to stay down in the dumps, well, stay down in the dumps. I don't care, you know, like
Yeah.
I'll go do something else. But I do remember there was this old dude. I felt bad for this guy, but the thing I remember him saying the most was, if man were meant to be married, he'd have been born that way. And because apparently he had some troubles in his marriage. So
Yeah, that's a comment that makes no sense. Sorry.
none whatsoever. But
If men's bones were meant to be solid, it would have been born that way. We should have soft bones always.
right.
All right. Anyways.
Yeah. But so at any rate, but you'll probably just pay attention to people and you will be entertained.
That's
You
true.
know? Like it's amazing because that's kind of where I started to shift my focus, was because it's like I could you know try and have a good day and try and help everybody else have a good day, but I know that's not ever going to happen. You know, you can't ever make somebody change their attitude. That's something that they have to do themselves. And so what you can do though is you can pay attention. And sometimes that's what people really need in order to fix their attitude, is they just want someone to pay attention to them and acknowledge them the way they are. And you know, and if so if you can pay attention to people, first of all, you'll have more fun and you might be able to connect at a deeper level, like Ryan was talking about. The books that he was referring to, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, was a big one for me. The biggest was How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People by Les Giblin. That book nailed it for me. Like that, I gained so much knowledge from that book, and I think it was written back in the 50s or the 60s or something like that. It was written a long time ago. But it's a great book, and you know, all the principles that are in there, you know, even though it was written that long ago, people are still people. You know, technology's changed, you know, our world has changed, our lifestyles have changed, all kinds of stuff has changed, but people are still people. We still have the same insecurities, we still have the same, you know, deep down desires. You know, all that is still the human condition. And you know, so these books are timeless. But anyway, I wanted to touch on your second paragraph here, where you were talking about you know, the stress and your new job, and then you know, you've gotten yourself out of your funk to do voice acting videos, and then you want to start your small art business on your YouTube channel, and you know, and then but your problem is finding time for yourself so that you can relax and unwind and not get so tense, right? One thing that helped me, I am a busy person. I almost said busybody, but I don't have time to be a busybody because I can't be in everybody else's business.
Yeah, you're not a busybody.
I just don't have time for that. I got so much of my own stuff going on. Like, you know, so because of that, I have found great, great peace in maintaining a schedule. And now I don't always do it perfectly, but to maintain some kind of a schedule, now you can kind of prioritize it. You know, like some schedules are not up to you, like the schedule at your job, for instance. That may not be up to you. Somebody else might make the schedule and you have to show up when you have to show up. And so what you do is you put that in there, you put that in your calendar first, and you're like, okay, that's when I'm working this week. Okay, now where do I put all these other things around this? And so if time to relax and unwind is a priority, then you need to put that in there in that schedule as well, and figure out what time that works best for you. You know, some days I have to relax and unwind while I'm in the middle of my inspections route, and I just have to find a place where I can pull off the road, whether it's in a park and ride or at a rest area or something, sometimes even a parking lot of a McDonald's or something. I've gone in the back of the parking lot of the McDonald's and just tipped my chair back and, like close my eyes for a little bit. But sometimes, especially on long inspections days, I need to throw that in there in the middle of the day so I can finish the day, or else I'll just be like frazzled. When you drive and are looking for houses all day long, it gets mentally exhausting. But so, and then sometimes it's like after I get done with my inspections route and before I have my Black Static and Swerve meeting or, whatever live stream we're doing, sometimes I have to just like lay down on my bed and just take a 15-minute nap and just let myself kind of shift gears, but having a schedule of some form and then sticking to it, it gives you the time for all of that stuff. If you're ever thinking to yourself, I need more time to do this, this, and this, and then it's like, okay, I have played this game with myself so many times where it's like, okay, I need time for this. And I ask myself, well, really, do I? Because right now I don't, and it's because I haven't made it. I haven't made that time for myself, right? If it's truly a priority, I need to put it in the schedule. And I need to work around it with everything else, right? Now, if you're like me, you've got more things to do than you can probably accomplish. And so it's like, I have to pick and choose which ones are the important ones. Okay, what's on my priority list for this week? What's on my priority list for today? What's on my priority list for this morning? And I have to actually like say no to a lot of things in order to say yes to the thing that's my priority. But when you give yourself a certain amount of time to do something and then you're able to do it and you start to, live this way, there's a peace that comes from just knowing what you're going to be doing. You have something reliable, like as you run this and you start to be able to trust yourself to follow it, it gets amazing because you start to be in charge of your life. You start to be in charge. You tell your life what to do, not the other way around. So many times, for so much of my life, I felt like I was blown around by all my circumstances and all the things I had to do and everything. And it was just like life was just always pushing me around and telling me what to do and where to be and all that kind of stuff. And I still get that way sometimes. But when I'm adhering to my schedule, like, nope, I'm in charge. I'm telling myself what to do. And when I can rely on myself to do that, it gets really cool and a lot of stuff starts to happen. So I would definitely consider, if you haven't already, Kendra, take a look at how you spend your time, because that's always the first step. Assess, take a look. Okay, where is my time going? And so you just kind of keep track of what you did throughout the day. And I remember when I did this for the first time, I was surprised because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm spending a whole bunch of time doing things that aren't really on my priority list. I better minimize that a little bit. So, and you start to make those adjustments from there. So anyway, I did want to address that, and hopefully that can be a little bit helpful for you. But I found so much peace in maintaining a schedule because it's something reliable like that. So anyway, that's about all I had for that. Ryan, I'm gonna hand it back to you.
All right. Kendra said, my family likes to throw curveballs, so I can never know what's going to happen next, especially when one brother is in cross country and my parents need me to watch my older brother.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, my other brother. I usually end up having to get things done in the night time because it's my only downtime and I end up not getting much sleep, even with taking melatonin. And side note, you don't care for snakes. She doesn't care for snakes.
Okay.
Not as pets anyways, it seems. So yeah. And then when you get home from work, you're exhausted, and that's totally understandable. I think that Joe was saying some great things. One important thing to remember, I wrote a song about this, Life Might Take Us. There's a lot of people who I think all of us really, even we create plans or we don't create plans. And either way, we feel like we're getting suffocated about all the stuff we have to do. And we don't enjoy the things that we didn't plan to do, right? If all of a sudden you plan to go like, hey, I'm gonna get a lot of artwork done tonight, and then all of a sudden your mom comes in and she's like, hey, would you watch your brother for me? And you're like, dang it, well, now it looks like I won't get any art done. It puts us in a bad mood, right? Here's a couple of things to remind yourself of when that type of stuff happens. One, just because the plans changed doesn't mean things are bad, right? Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Just because you had things you wanted to do and they can't get done now in the time that you wanted to get them done doesn't mean that's a bad thing. I learned a phrase, and I was happy to have learned this, and that's simply as it's simple as in God's time. All things in God's time. Sometimes we have these things we want to do, and there's all sorts of different things that we want to do with our lives, but it can't all happen right away. Sometimes we work on something for a year, or something gets on hold for like years, and then finally it comes to fruition, all of our hard work and efforts. And we look at it at that moment and go, this couldn't have happened at a better time. If it would have released blah, blah, blah years ago, it wouldn't have been as good. Or if it released then, it wouldn't have, some way or another, it wouldn't have been as good. I wouldn't have been as good of a person to deal with the fame, or I, wouldn't have understood how to handle the next situation that would come after releasing it. All these type of things, right? So all in God's time. I think that's an important thing to remember. Don't get carried away by you trying to do everything too fast, or trying to do everything exactly as you want it, at the speed you want it. Pretty much nothing in the life will go at the speed you want it to, and that's okay. Life is a journey, it's an adventure, and it's going to take some time. Remember that you have time. You have time to enjoy this journey. But if you're too worried about everything getting done, you won't have any fun in the journey. So when it feels like the journey's stopped or put on the side because of some abrupt, urgent matter, remember that that's part of the journey too. And remember to enjoy that moment. Enjoy spending time with your brother, even though, you didn't want to. You had other plans, and now your other plans are on the sidelines. That doesn't mean it's a bad deal. Take that moment and appreciate it and say, no, this is part of my journey. This is just where I was going to lead. So let me take in this moment and make it the best moment I can in this scenario. That's really, really important. Why? Because that will help you continue to do the other stuff. Here's a question. You go out and you're doing something you don't want to do for like 2 hours. You get done with that and you come home, right? Or whatever. How do you feel? You feel drained. You feel unexcited to do anything, and you just want to be like, I want to take a break and I just want to go to sleep or whatever. Let's say you go out and do something that you've chosen to enjoy for 2 hours and you come back, right? It wasn't something you wanted to do, but hey, you got this chance to do it. So why not take the chance? You do it. You come home, you're like, man, I just had a great time. That was great. You have a better attitude. You have more strength within you to do the next thing. Maybe you feel like, okay, I don't have a whole lot of time, but I'm going to do a couple of things. It puts you in the right frame of mind. Or maybe you go, instead, you might do the opposite. Like, oh, geez, I was taken away from this for so long. Now I'm finally back to what I want to do. So finally I get to do all this stuff. But you're stressed out because now you're rushing it because you feel like time was taken away from you. Remember, you've got time. You've got your whole life still ahead of you. And it's not just a few moments. It's many moments. So don't rush it. Obviously, be productive, be diligent, but don't rush it. If you have a frame of mind like, oh, geez, I was supposed to do all this and now I've got to do all this in like this tiny bit of time, you're going to stress yourself out and you're not going to be enjoying what you're doing. You're not going to enjoy your adventure, and your final product is probably not going to be as good because you're stressed out about it. You're not comfortable. You're not enjoying it, right? Mm-hmm. And that emotion, all of that feeling kind of get wrapped up into it. And so it's not an enjoyable piece of work that you've worked on. Instead, if you just changed your frame of mind when you got taken away from what you wanted to do and you come back, now it doesn't feel like you have to rush it. You don't feel like you were taken away from something because what you did was important too. Mm-hmm. People are important. People are more important than the physical activities we're trying to pursue. And to remember that makes doing those physical activities or those activities that we're trying to pursue, our careers that we're trying to pursue, if you get the first thing right, the second thing will follow a lot easier. So if you get the people right, like, hey, I'm being called away to watch my brother or whatever, I'm doing that for other people and I'm spending time with people. That's more important than anything in the world. Because why are you trying to advance in your career? What does that do? It improves the world and improves people's lives. Yeah. But that's at the base of it. So if you act out the base of it in your life in real time, then when you go and you start to work on something for your career, that's to the same end, it will come a lot more naturally. You'll have the right intentions in mind. You'll be in the right spirit on the right day. So, and you'll also hopefully understand, hey, it's not urgent. I can rest easy and know that no matter what path I take in life, even if I'm forced down it, there's always a path that leads back to God, or there's always a path that will lead to where I'm trying to go. The doors are never closed off for good. There's still doors, even if they're closed for a moment. So just try to remember that and calm down and not worry so much about trying to get everything done, because the point of life isn't just to show how much you can get done with it. There are plenty of people that you guys never heard of that live their whole lives doing all sorts of stuff you'll never know about. And I'm sorry to say that's probably most people. But that's not because they're unimportant. It's because they made their lives about something that wasn't as important as they could have. It's not about doing things. Mm-hmm. It's not about accomplishing things. It's about the journey. And that's cliche. You've heard it thousands of times, but it's about the journey. Are you enjoying your journey? Because if you enjoy your journey, you'll spread joy into other people's lives and you'll help them enjoy their journey. That's what we want. That's ultimately what we want, isn't it? When we go out and we chase a career, why do we do that? Because we want happiness. We want to feel proud of ourselves. We want to enjoy ourselves, and we want to enjoy the life that we live. We go to school and get good grades and get a good job. Why? Because we're told that's what will make our journey joyful. If instead you just take the journey as it is and be joyful for what it is, and whatever moment you're thrown towards, enjoy that moment. Remember to focus on the important things. You'll spread joy into other people's lives beyond your own. And what you'll find is you've always had it. You are at your destination. This is where you're meant to be. So don't get anxious. Don't get worried about the future. You are. And that's beautiful. You are. You exist. And you are already at the destination you need to be. Right here, right now. So find a way to enjoy that. And then from there, yes, of course, continue towards your future. Continue creating wonderful content. That is important. That is a beautiful thing. But you have to do that after you get the root right, after you get the understanding of enjoying your life as it is. before you can move on to the next level. They say grass is greener on the other side. Then when you get there, there you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't like yourself still. And you realize, oh, the grass might be greener, but it's not any better, you know, because I'm not any better. So it's one of those things. You take you wherever you go. So you got to make sure you get the number one right. But anyways, that's what I got on the issue. It's super, what Joe said is super important. If you want to help calm your anxiety, definitely, if you're worried about all the tasks you got to do, plan some stuff out. That's good. That will help you be productive. But make sure that you are enjoying it and you have the attitude to enjoy it, whatever it is that you have to do, because that'll make everything better. That's the whole point of everything that you do in the first place. So just start with that and then work from there. I hope that makes sense, because it's totally doable. Sometimes it feels like that's not something I'm capable of, but you are capable of that. Anyways, Joe, back to you. Sorry for taking so much time.
No, you didn't take that much time. Kendra said, I've tried to make the best of things, but it's hard. And then Caleb, I see your quote that you just posted. Why do we worry about the future when every day will come just the way the Lord ordains it? And that's a very fitting statement, because it's like, yeah, we shouldn't worry about the future. Stuff's going to happen. Ryan has said many times, there's nothing really good or bad. It's just stuff that happens. We assign the label good or bad based on how we feel about it. But really, everything is a learning experience. And it's amazing because we tend to learn a lot from our negative experiences, the ones we consider bad. But you know what? Most of the time, I think we miss out on the learning experiences in the good times because we're so excited about it being a good time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We're just like, hey, man, this is a good time. Woo! And we miss out on the lesson that event brings.
That's interesting.
You know, so it's like, so just remember that everything that's happening to you, it's okay. It's going to be fine. It's just something that happens. And like Ryan said, that's why Life Might Take Us is such a great song, because, well, it's a great song for many reasons, but that's one of the reasons.
It's a terrible song.
It talks.
The song itself is awful, but the message is cool.
It's amazing. And the message is sweet too. But yeah, but like, so when stuff comes your way, it's okay. You can have fun with it. And I love what you were getting at, Ryan, about, you know, the grass being greener on the other side. But really, and the thought occurred to me, well, if you think the grass is so green over there, why not get some fertilizer for your side?
Yeah, why don't you do what they're doing?
Why not water the grass? Why not, you know, get involved in where you are, like what you were talking about, you know, and do the best you can where you are. And make that grass as green as possible, because, hey, you're there. So why not? That's awesome. So Kendra, I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for coming and sharing this with us. You had a lot of thoughts in this one, and I really appreciate your courage in sharing some of this stuff, because it does take courage to post this stuff. So at any rate, thank you so much, Kendra, and I hope some of this was helpful for you. And don't be a stranger. It'll be really good. So anyway, let's see where to move to next, Ryan.
You're the host, so I'm going to move it towards you.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you, Kendra, very, very much. And you're awesome. So is Jono still here? I wonder. So we've got it looks like we got a few that popped up from back in September. Hey, there you are. All right. So Jono also is known as Munker Star, and his topic is possessiveness and creativity. Oh, I almost clicked on the wrong one. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Am I gonna do it? Am I gonna do it? Oh, I didn't do it. Ryan, you're muted. I see you talking over there.
She's so fast. She's just too good. You can't even compete.
She-
Every time. She's just
I
like,
can't.
Sorry.
Too
Don't
good.
Should I be
sorry.
slower for you?
Why should you be sorry for being amazing? Like that's
yeah, don't even,
sorry for.
you being sorry for being amazing just makes us feel less amazing.
Yes. So
Yeah.
yes, you can click on that link and it'll take you to
Just kidding.
bss.studio, and there you can go to the store and get 20% off the Criminal Idol book this month. I'm gonna here I am throwing in all these plugs during Don't Worry Wednesday. So sorry if that gets annoying, guys. My apologies. But anyway, this is called Possessiveness and Creativity. Princess, would you like to read it for us?
I would love to. Some of you may know that the community is involved in creating a visual novel based on Criminal Idol. I'm currently lead composer for this project, and those of you who attend our weekly meetings probably already know where this is going and are saying, not this again. I'm so sorry about that. Also, Ryan, this is the reason I kept asking if I could do covers of and use material from your songs. My problem is, as the title suggests, a very selfish one. I've spent the last few months composing ruthlessly, a lot of which has gone towards the soundtrack of this game, and so far I've written a little over 20 minutes of music for it. The problem is that in most of this time, there haven't been any soundtrack entries posted by anyone else. And I was getting into the headspace that the soundtrack for this game would be my personal project, one that I cherish and gladly take on. The direction of this is probably obvious now, but as more people learn about the project and sign on as musicians, the more it becomes clear that it's obvious I can't be the only composer in a community project. I'd still very much like to be, and we've talked through it as a group, and I quickly realized how stupid that sounded, and I had to let other people in, as if I had any authority to stop them in the first place. After this, I lost most of my motivation to write for the soundtrack. A lot of the time and effort is now going into writing tracks for my YouTube channel, and I still have more than enough time to write for the game too. Yet it suddenly shifted from the thing I most wanted to do to something I might get on with if I have a lot of free time. This isn't a plea to retain the rights as the only composer. We're past that. I've just been left the feeling a bit despondent with the results, as though the dream I was composing for was suddenly altered. This doesn't mean I intend to give up on the game. What now? P.S. I never meant to suggest that I was better than any of the other musicians in the group. From the amazing, lovely Jono, because I love you.
That's not written in there.
Nope, that's Princess Adlib. Because I love Jono and Jono needs to know that.
Yes, I love Jono too. And spoiler alert, I might get to finally work on a project with this guy. I'm just like super duper excited. So I'm sorry if you didn't want anybody to know about that yet, but yeah, I got a very, very cool message from Jono, and he was like, hey, you want to help me out with some drum stuff? And I'm like, yes, I want to work with you. Like, let's do it, man. That'll be awesome. So
He's super good.
yeah. Anybody who hasn't heard any of his stuff, go and check it out. This guy is an incredible composer, and I can't wait to hear. I've poked around in the Discord, and I've heard some of the stuff you've written for the game, and I think that's awesome. And I love your what's it? The SoundCloud. All the stuff you have up on SoundCloud too is amazing. So anyway, this is definitely an issue that I think a lot of artistic people have been through. I think a lot of us go through this. I certainly have and still do from time to time. I think I've gotten past a lot of this type of stuff, but then every time I say that about myself, it kind of comes back again. So, but it's all kind of a head game. and some of the things we have to do to kind of tweak that can get kind of interesting. So I'm going to turn it over to Ryan and see how he handles this kind of issue. Except for he's like the best musician on earth, so like I don't know what maybe he's never struggled with this because
What?
it's amazing.
What? Okay. No. There's so many songs that I listen to that I'm like, dang it, I wish I wrote this song. Why? This could have been my song. I could have wrote this song. I wish I would have written this song. I needed to exist 40 years ago. I needed to write this song.
So you could have written it.
Yeah, wroten it. Yeah, so that I could past tense, pretense, post wroten it. Don't you know your English words?
I know.
Geez, wow. It's post, past, present, beyond tense, which is a very specific thing that only exists for this word and maybe a few others that I might accidentally say.
Mhm.
So anyways, Jono, I totally get it. I think that this is, we all have pride. And it's something that we have to deal with. I remember dealing with something very similar before. When you work hard on something and you get the idea of like, okay, well, I guess it's my project now, and this is going to be cool because now when the video game gets a lot of views, right? When the video game gets like a lot of traction, people start playing it. They're going to see, they're going to think, oh, wow, the music's really good. Who composed these songs? And then they'll look and they'll say one name. It'll just be John O. Taylor, or they'll look one name, Static P. That is a cool thing, but that's not what's going to happen, right? Instead, if they are interested in the music, they'll look it up and they'll see a list of names. Sometimes that might make the person go, oh, wow, that's a lot of names. That's too many to look up. So, oh, well. But I like the games of this. I like the songs in this. Some people might look it up. Some people, might look up a few names and then stop. It's kind of an interesting thing. So there is that aspect of it, which I totally understand. And it can feel like you're getting the short end of the stick when something like that happens, especially if you work on a bunch of the songs and then another person comes in and they write like 2 songs or 1, and their name gets on there presented equally to yours, right? I can feel that a lot of times might feel unfair. Here's what I want to do for you. This is a huge blessing that happened in my life. And it's a different way of thinking. Let's say I wrote like all the songs in there but 1. And that person's name is on there with mine as if equal, right? I would celebrate that. Why? Because I would be like, I just pulled that person up. I just pulled that person up to the next level. They didn't have to work hard. Sure, I worked hard. All good. But you know what's awesome? I just gave that person a chance. Because I'm confident that my songs are good. I'm confident that your songs are good, right? And hey, if they make it with their stuff into the game, I'm confident their stuff is good, right? We all work together for the best product in the end. That's what we're doing, right? So we're trying to put out into the world the best thing we can. And so we all work together. But the beautiful thing is when we do that, we pull each other up with our gifts. Rainy does awesome art design, but she doesn't write music. I get to pull her up with my gift and she pulls me up with hers. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? My stuff gets views on YouTube. The first thing people see is Rainey's artwork or Kanasaki's artwork or anybody who's had a chance to post their, art on my videos. People are drawn to the image first and they go, oh, wow. They pull me up with their efforts when they do that. And then when they listen to the song, they go, oh, wow, this was really great. And they listen to it over and over and over. And they remember the images they see. And that exonerates, that honors the person who got to work on the art. So it's an incredible thing to be able to work with other people who share gifts or who have different gifts. I get to work with Joe. We haven't produced an album in a long time, but when we first started writing music, we worked on an album together. And one of the funny things was that album wasn't just me and Joe's music. Actually, Steve got some parts on there too. I don't know about the first album, but the second album, right?
Second album, yeah.
Second album, yeah. But
First
on both
album was
albums,
different. He contributed, but he contributed.
yeah, he
not-
contributed in gear.
Yes.
We needed a lot of gear, and he helped a lot in that fashion.
Yep.
But on both albums, there were songs that they had just bought online. They just went online and they were like, "Oh, this is a cool song. Click, buy. All right, well, you're using it for our album." And that didn't hurt at all. That was just like, oh, if that's what they did, that's kind of weird. I never even thought of doing something like that. I wouldn't have done that. But hey, go for it. You know what? It makes our job easier
Mm-hmm.
because now the album is out there and I didn't have to write a song like that because that would have been a pain in the butt. So cool. Easy. Thanks for making my job easier. I still make the same amount of money from it.
Mm-hmm.
And we still got the same amount of attention from it, which was, we actually did it anonymously. So it was zero.
0 at first, but then
At
word
first, and
got
then people
out.
started finding it out and figuring it out and coming to us in person. And it was awesome because people who came to us in person would go like, "Oh my gosh, track blah, blah, blah." And we'd be like, "I have no idea what track that is," because they got all changed around last minute and stuff.
Track 4
Track 4.
changed my life.
Track 4 changed my life. Track 7, man. Track 7, just cry my eyes out every time.
Yep.
Oh man.
That was cool.
Track 3. How did you do that part with the, it's like, it was awesome. The feedback was really great. The point of what I'm saying is this. Instead of looking at it as you're sharing your cake, right? You have a cake and you're sharing it now. Look at it as you've got more bakers to bake cakes with.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how it truly is. I understand the feeling of like, I've had that feeling before. You're really into something and then someone else gets involved and then it feels like, oh, so it's not just my project anymore. It's not like I feel like I'm not as important. Or even if I still feel like I'm just as important, my motivation is gone for one reason or another. And a lot of times it's to do with just the way I'm looking at it. Joe taught me something really important. When he met me, and he's treated so many other people like this, he listens to the music and he just goes on about how awesome it is. And he points out things like, yeah, this is the way you did this is really great, blah, blah, blah. And the fact that he is a musician and he's able to do that for other musicians and he doesn't feel like anything's taken away from him, even though we're working on the same projects or whatever, to me, really paved the way in which I thought about it because it helped me to just go, I need to do the same thing. That's the right way of thinking about it. He's taking someone else's work and lifting them up and going, wow, this is such a fascinating and incredible piece of work that you've done here. It doesn't take anything away from me to say that about another person. In fact, it only adds to the compilation that we're working on. So instead of being put off by the fact that you have to work with these people, be excited that you get the chance to work with these people because these people are awesome and they've got incredible talent and you get to share a spot with your music is to share a spot with theirs, and that's super, super cool. And that should be inspiring to you because I think that's a better way to look at it. If you look at it that way, see and hope that your desire to keep composing for that, I guess gets better. But anyways, I'm going to get back over to Joe and yeah, thank you.
Well, Ryan, I really appreciate you saying that, that you learned stuff from me, because I've learned a lot from you in this aspect as well. But it gets pretty amazing when you get the chance to work with other people like Ryan was talking about. Things happen that you didn't expect. Like enhancements to your project occur, which are really, really cool. Because then, like you might not have thought to do a certain thing in a song or an area or in a certain section or whatever, and then somebody else comes in and throws something in there. I remember I made a song. It's the one that I refer to all the time where I was crying my eyes out, because we were losing our house, and I did that guitar solo in the middle of it, and I was crying, like bawling while I was doing it, and it turned out to be one really great part of that song. Well, the interesting thing about that song was that was only one version of that song that made the album. There was a second version of that song placed on the album that Ryan, so the first one I did all the parts on, right? And I recorded it all. And then they wanted another one in that style. And so I was like, and so Ryan just, I don't think I even asked him to do it. He just took that song and he like wrote his own drum part to it, and he like kind of chopped it up and moved some stuff around and did whatever, and it was like, and it was, in my opinion, it was better than my original.
I don't know that it was better, but I was surprised. You had so many extra things that I had to work with. I was like, oh, this is great. I'm going to take this chunk of this and throw it over here. I was really excited to be able to work on it. I was like, oh my gosh, I get to work on Joe's piece. I was so happy.
Well, I appreciate that. I was, and at first, but I struggled with this whole thing in that process, right? Because first of all, it was like, oh no, he's taking one of my pieces. He's gonna like take it apart and he's gonna do something with it, And so like my pride started to kind of well up a little bit, and I'm kind of like, first I'm getting a little bit frustrated, and I'm like, oh, maybe this is gonna be okay. And then I was really frustrated because it was better than mine.
No, it wasn't. That's a matter of opinion.
It's a matter of truthful opinion. But then he had to like that. Then Ryan was like, okay, I need like a guitar solo in this part. Can you do a guitar solo? And so yeah, so I did another guitar solo in this other part, and it was really amazing. So if you guys want to hear a collaborative effort of Ryan and mine on this channel, there's a song called Main Character, where Ryan and I, that was truly where, both of us had written different parts to this song. Well, Ryan had written the song, and then he had me play some, basically I played the drum part, and then also I did some guitars in there too, and background vocals. But that was one where he and I actually collaborated on, and that was kind of like how it was for the first few years of us working together. It was like somebody would have an idea, we'd pass it off, somebody would add their stuff to it and then pass it back, and then back and forth and back and forth, and then, and then there it was. Right? And it was cool. And it was a great learning experience to understand that, you know what? It's not about me. It's not. My music is not about me. My music is not about my career in music. My music is not about my, ability to make music. It's not about me showcasing my talent. It's not about me getting recognition from other people. Music is a source of power that influences people's lives, in my opinion. I think music holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts. And because it, for some reason, that use of sound waves drives deep into our heart. And so the music is for the listener. And when you start to understand that, it takes a long time to undo the pride in composing, the pride in making music, and I'm sure it happens across all art forms. But I always talk about, and I'd always think about my music. I want people to hear my music because I want, it kind of became like I'm a showpiece. But that's not what it's about. It's about the listener. It's about who hears it and how does it impact them when they hear it. And you can be impactful and have really crummy production. We learned that with our first release. Because I knew a little bit about production. Ryan knew a little bit about production, but
No, I didn't.
man, we learned a lot in that process.
I didn't know anything, man. Came in, it was like, hey, we'll write an album for you. And he's like, that's what we want. Go for it. And we're like, sweet. What do we do?
Yeah,
How do we do that?
we were driving back from that encounter. We had like an hour and a half drive back from that event that we met, and actually we made this deal that we were gonna do this album. And we were like partway home, we were all excited. We're like, man, we're doing it. This is gonna be great. And then we looked at each other. We don't have any gear. We don't have any knowledge. We don't have anything. We don't have any songs written. We got nothing.
It's like we just conned the biggest con in the world, and we're like, yeah, I'm a plumber. Yeah, I'll plumb your thing. And then we get out, we're like, oh wait, we don't have any wrenches. We don't have anything. We made it up, and it worked.
It is hilarious. At the time, we were supposed to be collaborating. We lived like 100 miles apart from each other, so this was going to have to happen on the internet. I didn't even have internet access.
And collaborating on the internet was a thing that no one was really doing other than a very few small groups of people.
Right. This was
when it was coming,
we were using.
No one was collaborating music on the internet. The files are way too big.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we found out a way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thanks to Ryan's brother Kyle.
Thanks to Kyle. Yes.
Yep. He found us a file sharing program that we could use, and it took forever to move stuff. It was amazing. But anyway, this is not about our story and all this kind of stuff. The point is, all that we went through to do that, it's not about us. It was about the people that experienced it. It was about the people that would listen to it, and it would have an impact on their lives. That's what our music's about. I started to learn this way back when I was playing drums in biker bars a lot. And I was basically in this classic rock cover band, and I was playing drums. And I remember the shift when it happened, because I was always a flashy drummer, and I was always like, yeah, man, look at how cool I am. And I had some really good drums at that time too. Like I had really nice, a custom drum kit that was really beautiful looking, and like all this stuff was made, and I wanted to like show it off and stuff like that. And what I learned was, as a drummer, the best compliment you can get is a full dance floor for the whole night, and nobody mentions you at all. Nobody talks about how good your drum solo was. Nobody talks about how good of a drummer you are. Nobody says anything about it. They don't notice, because what you did was you did your job. You held the beat, and you kept that dance floor full. You kept people out moving and having a good time. And it really started to become about the audience. It wasn't about me being a good showman. It was about me doing my job so that people could enjoy themselves while they were there. That was really it. And it's the same way here. So I'll tell you, in this scenario, take what Ryan said to heart. Because you will have the chance to lift people up. And that will feel better than any recognition you get. And, here's the one
you
thing.
can get the recognition from somebody, or you can get the chance to lift someone up and be their friend, have a relationship with them. One of them matters a whole lot more. getting one person going, oh wow, you have great music, and a sea of other people saying that can start to mean almost nothing. It means something, but it doesn't mean as much as when you got the chance of helping someone or being a part of someone else's project, forming a relationship with them and collaborating back and forth, right? Those are moments, several moments as opposed to one moment.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And there is a way to always stay in the lead position. Produce. You know, I see you've talked about you're currently the lead composer. Absolutely. You know, I've seen more stuff from you, you know, when I look through that project, I'm like, yep, absolutely. You know, you are the lead composer because you've produced the most stuff. And because you kind of have taken charge of that project and you're kind of guiding it and you're, you know, like that aspect, I mean, yeah, that's yours. To welcome other people in, it's wonderful. And I imagine they're probably looking at you as that leader. And so then your job is to continue producing and then, you know, offer assistance when asked for and all that. I mean, you can totally you I mean, to me, I look at that project, you're definitely in charge of that area. I don't think that's going to change. But having other people there just gives you more of an opportunity to serve and enhance your own work and everything else. It's amazing. So anyway, I don't know. I'm going to turn it back to Ryan. He's got more stuff,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Actually, I think I don't have too much. I guess one thing I just wanted to say was like I've got you know, I'm working on this story. It won't be anytime soon that it releases, but I'm working on a great, huge, awesome story, worthy of hopefully multiple seasons or different characters going through this world that I've developed. But one of my favorite things to come back to that motivates me to continue writing it is knowing that when it's finished, I'm going to be able to have other people compose on it other than just me. I love making instrumentals more than I'm like making songs with words on them. It comes a lot more natural to me. But I also know that I only produce certain kinds of sounds and that I have a certain sound to me. And I can do all sorts of different stuff. You know, I can do desert themes. I can do ice dungeon themes. I can do playful time, or I can do dramatic sorrow and whatever, right? And it's all going to sound different. But I also know that if I just ask Joe or Steve or someone else, even you, Jono, to be like, you know what? I got this song in here that I need made. Could you make it for me? Because this is right up the alley of how you write music. Or I think that you're going to do you're going to do such a good job on this, better than I can do. And I'm excited to see what other people create for it and how to plug it in. I don't want to be the only composer. I want it to be a masterpiece, right? And a masterpiece is created by multiple individuals who are working together to create the best end. You might think of like, well, you look at like, his name's, I don't know, for example, Michelangelo, okay, artist. And you might look at one of his pieces and go, wow, that's a masterpiece. And he did it all himself. That's not true. Any artist you look at, you might think, wow, this is a masterpiece. What they've created, they've done it all themselves. They didn't. No one does anything completely alone. How did they achieve the painting? How did they get the colors? How did they get the brushes? Did they make them themselves, or probably not? How do they get the pieces for the brushes? How do they get the pieces for the paint to make the dyes and all that kind of stuff? That's important. What about the funding for their project? How do they make an income? How do they make a living? Who is helping them? Who is cooking their dinners at their homes? You know, all these things go into our daily lives. We don't do anything just by our own. We rely on each other all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we're doing is constantly in working with somebody else. or working on what they've made before us. I use the computer. Somebody else not only made all the parts, someone created up the idea of computers. Someone worked on that. And it wasn't just one person. It was many, 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 many people with ideas coming together since thousands of years ago with math and science and progresses then. And even their moms, feeding them and keeping them alive and nourishing them, right? We are where we are today because of how we collaborate with humanity and each other every single day. So
And
to
their
be
moms.
able to work with somebody else is an honor. And just to go, wow, I get to work alongside that. Yeah, they've come in, they're going to write one song, maybe 3, maybe 15. Maybe they'll even write more songs than I do. Who knows? But the fact that I get to work with them and collaborate with them is an honor. It's a joy. And I hope that motivates you. But yeah, and I see that you said, thank you guys. You're awesome insight as ever. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Jono, you're amazing. Your stuff is fantastic. So I'm excited to hear and play once you guys get it all created. I really am. I'm excited to play it, see where it all ends up. But yeah, that's all I got. I'm gonna give it over back to you, Joe.
All right. Well, I didn't really have much else, and I appreciate the topic, Jono. And I tell you what, I haven't responded. I've been listening to that song. I've listened to it a handful of times. I love it. The one that you've asked me to help with. And yeah, we got some conversating to do. So
Conversating?
Yep, it's gonna be good. So anyway, thank you so much for the topic. And yes, we will move along. So you're amazing, Jono. Let's see, who do we have next? We got Regal, we got Aaron.
That's right.
Aaron is here. Oh, and looks like Marshmallow is. Oh, and Regal is also here.
Okay.
So, I don't know. What do you think? Think we can do both?
We can try it.
We can try. All right.
We have a half an hour.
I think Regal's came in first.
Yep, that's the order here.
Yep. Let's see. Let's see what happens when I. Yep, Regal's came in. Yeah, Regal's came in earlier today, and then Aaron's came in right at the beginning of the show. Looks like. So okay. Cool. Princess posted the link to main character.
Yeah. Whoops.
Nice.
Whoopsies.
Hey, look at that. And here's this other link too. If you guys feel like it, you can go there.
But don't feel like it.
That's a good link. That links
Definitely
you
do
to
Joe's link.
all this stuff.
100% always best link.
100% always best link. I thought that was the link from Legends of Zelda. I thought he was
it's
best
Joe.
link.
It's
That
Joe link.
second link, the second Joe link is the one that you can get stuff at.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty good link.
Yeah, that's a good link.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, but let's get on to our topic. If we're gonna do 2 of these, we got to get going.
Oh, yeah, Helmarock Hero is best link. But there's also Hyrule, who's also link. There's a lot of best links out there.
Oh yes, a link to the past. Yeah. All right, Princess. This is Regal. Feelings I didn't ask for.
Continued. It's been about 2 months since the last time I posted here, when I spoke about being in love with my best friend. Joe wasn't here that week, so I'll give a quick summary. Basically, I'm in love with my best friend, but she is in a happy relationship, and has been for about 3 years. I have absolutely no intention of even attempting to get in the way of that. I just want the pain I feel to stop. She's happy how things are, and it would be wrong for me to selfishly mess things up for my own gain. I received some great advice last time, like when Ryan spoke about taking the path of love by denying the feeling of love. And that has helped me a lot to get through this. But things are getting worse again. I'm starting to unravel, and the pain is becoming unbearable at times. Usually I would talk to her about things like this, as there is nobody in the world that I trust more than her. But I cannot do that this time, for obvious reasons. I only want the best for her, so I absolutely will not interfere with her current relationship. But this just hurts me so badly. I can't keep this facade of being okay for much longer. I feel myself slipping away, and I'm scared. I'm afraid of becoming a cold, scornful person, or even worse, an emotionless void, feeling nothing at all. I just want to be okay again and go back when she was nothing more than my closest friend. And that was perfectly fine. I can't risk losing her or myself because of this. So how can I stop my fall before things get any worse? From Regal.
Well, I definitely feel your pain. It's heart wrenching to read through this because I understand how an unrequited love can be so painful. Like when we feel feelings for another person and then but then it's like, well, there's no chance that's ever gonna happen, or it would be wrong of me to try to impose that. And like there's so much here that can just tie you up inside. And so I'm really sorry to hear you're going through this. But I know Ryan. I'm gonna let him talk first, see if he has anything new from last time, and then yeah, and then I'll take it. But Ryan.
Yeah. Hopefully I don't repeat myself too much. I probably won't, but we'll find out. Um, you know, and sometimes things need to be repeated, honestly. Helps us to be pushed in the right direction, to be reminded of things. But this is an interesting scenario because you feel all this pain, right? And it's not because you've done anything wrong, right? It's not wrong to desire someone in this way, right? I think that's important. It's important to look at yourself and know I'm not wrong for wanting this, right? Because it's important to know it's important to look at yourself and be satisfied with yourself so that you can move forward, right? Sometimes when we're at ends with ourselves, it becomes increasingly and it just becomes so difficult to move on because we're at ends with ourselves and we're just arguing with ourselves and we don't like ourselves. So why would we listen to ourselves? And then we won't listen to anybody else because we want to be right so that we have a reason to be proud of ourselves. And it's crazy. Mm-hmm. So first and foremost, I want to let you know that you are not in the wrong. There's nothing wrong with desiring another person, right? So be at ease. Be at ease. Know that you haven't taken a wrong path. You are where you are, and it's okay. And not only that, but things will pass. I'm not saying that things will pass soon or things will pass eventually. They can pass at any moment. My point is, life moves forward. But where you are right now, it's okay. Mm-hmm. It's not morally incorrect. You've done nothing evil in this scenario, right? In fact, what you're doing, you're holding out for the sake of good. I'd say that's a beautiful thing. You should be proud of yourself. You might like her, but you're choosing to hold back, right? Because you would rather her be happy. You want her to enjoy her life, and you don't want to step in between a relationship. You don't want to harm this other person. You don't want to mess with it. Even though you have this desire, which isn't wrong, I think shows that you have a lot of good in your heart. So be proud of who you are. You're awesome. Because I tell you what, there's a lot of other people who would get up in that business and try to tear it down. There's a lot of other people who would put their desires above other people's goodwill because they want it so badly, because it hurts. And so they don't like that hurt. They say, oh, if it hurts, then I must be doing something wrong. Kind of like that idea of you experience pain when you put your hand on the hot stove because the pain sensors are telling you, oh, hey, you're doing something wrong. Take your hand off. But that isn't always the case. Sometimes you feel pain, and it's not because you did anything wrong. Sometimes we feel pain because a loved one dies. Sometimes we feel pain because there's something that we want and we know we can never have it. But it's all right. It's all right that we can't have it. It just hurts. Sometimes we feel pain because we get frustrated with ourselves or frustrated with other people. Sometimes we feel pain for all sorts of different reasons. It doesn't have to be anything that you're doing wrong. And so I want to reinstate that in your brain and remind you that you're an awesome person. You're an enduring, an incredibly strong person. If you're still feeling these things after the last time we spoke, it's been quite a while. You're still feeling these things and you're enduring them, and you haven't given up on the idea of allowing them to be together. You haven't done anything evil because of it, right? You've allowed that pain to be there, and you've continued to move on in your life, even if that pain is there. You're an awesome person, because that takes strength. It means you've endured a lot. You haven't lost yourself yet. And I think that that's an awesome, awesome feat. That is a beautiful thing. Okay? So be proud of yourself. Here's the thing. I want you to be proud of yourself, and here's why. The more proud of yourself you are, the more you love yourself, the more you respect yourself, the easier it will be to get over this situation. And I say that from experience. When you can appreciate and you love yourself and you recognize what's good for you and what's bad for you, and you desire the good in you, when you can see the good in you, when you can be proud of yourself and you say, hey, I've gone pretty far and I know I can go so much further. When you realize, because it isn't false or true or whatever based on what I'm saying. It's just straight up true that you're a valuable human being and that you are an incredible person. It's not arguable. You can't argue that because it's just true. But as soon as you realize it and you accept that and you hold it true to your heart, it becomes so much easier to move on, because you realize you don't need your desires to be happy. And you can let your desires go, and you don't feel as like your heart doesn't get so tense and tight because of it, because you realize I'm pretty freaking awesome. I'm going to move on anyways. And while I wanted that thing, I recognize that I don't need it, that things are better off if I don't have it, that I can be wrong sometimes. My heart can be wrong sometimes. But in the end, that's just being human. And I'm pretty good at being human. I'm doing pretty good. I picked a lot of right choices, even though things were tough. Things were against me. I was against myself, and I still picked the right choices. I'm pretty awesome. So, you know what? That thing over there, I'm going to be awesome without it. That's just the way it's going to be. It's a lot easier to get past things when you know you can rely on yourself. So I want you to try to rely on yourself some more. Don't worry so much about how other people feel about you. Don't worry about what you necessarily want or how you want other people to see you. Recognize that you're awesome either way. You're awesome whether you have a Ferrari or you don't. Whether you got a moped or you don't. Whether you got wood floors or carpeting. You're your own person. And you are a masterpiece. You are a unique, and you are a miracle in nature. You are a miracle, right? You really shouldn't have been, but you are, sort of thing. And you're awesome for it. You get to go on with the rest of your life and do incredible things and spend incredible times with people. And you can make that time that you spend with these people, with this person that you love, right? You can spend that time with them. But as we talked about earlier, I don't know if you were here or not, You have to enjoy the moment you're in.
Mm.
You know, a lot of the things that we do in life, I'm going to repeat myself, but a lot of the things we do in our lives are in search of happiness. But we fail to see that we can just be happy where we are while continuing to do those things that keep on moving us forward. We've already arrived where we're supposed to be. But a lot of times we get so caught up on what we want and how it's not that way that we drag ourselves through the mud. And it's like, why are you laying down in the mud puddle? Just walk over it, buddy. Because I'm so focused and I want to get right up in that mud and see what it looks like and cry about it. And it's like, what are you, dumb? It's like, yeah, I am. I do that. We all do that. All right. We all do that. I want to get mud in my eyes. It hurts so bad. Why are you doing this? It's what we do. We want so many things for ourselves because we think that's what's going to make us happy in life. And we fail to see the beauty around us that already exists. That we have the choice to enjoy whatever we're in right now. So again, I know I've said this earlier and I hope you were here for it, but just be happy with who you are and this moment you are in. Because you're good enough to be happy with yourself. You're beautiful. And yes, you're not perfect. Nobody here is. But there's no reason to get upset or feel ache or pain over the things that you don't have just because you want them. Right? It doesn't do us any good. It can drive us to push harder. Yeah? And that's a beautiful thing. But if it's holding us back instead, if it's turning our lives into a nightmare, we can recognize that our desires aren't for ourselves. Our desire isn't to make us happy because it's not making us happy while we're desiring it, right? And so my whole point here is to say, learn to trust yourself more. Learn to understand you're going to be okay. Whether you get what you want or you're not, you're going to make it worth it. You're going to make it okay in the end. Trust yourself. Love yourself. And I know that's hard. I know that's really hard. Depends on how we've lived our lives up till date. It depends on how people have treated us, and I get it. All of that makes an impact. But ultimately, you get to decide you. You get to decide how you want to think about yourself. So I hope that you can find it in your heart to love yourself because you're worth loving. You were designed to be loved. I love you. You're awesome. And I hope to see more stuff from you. Hope to see you in the chat more, because if you're a person who's endured this and through the struggles and feel like you just want to give up, or you feel like you just want to go insane and attack somebody, right? You feel like you're just going to be hateful or whatever, and yet you've held on to what is just. You've held on to righteousness despite all of these pains and this desire and all of these things going against you. You're a kind of person that I want to get to know. So I hope you get to know you well, at the very least, and learn to trust yourself and learn to love yourself, because that's the best advice I can give at this moment. But anyways, I'm going to give it over to Joe and see what he's got to say about all this.
I say everything you said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, start with the first thing I said, which was...
I would say whatever Ryan said, listen to it again.
Hey guys, welcome to Nowhere Wednesday. You know, just kidding.
No, that was what I said.
That was you this time.
The only thing that I could really add to this, Ryan talked a lot about, well, he mentioned it in there where he said, you know, the more you respect yourself, the easier time you'll have as you go through this. And you talked about in your posts there, you said you feel yourself slipping away. I'm scared. I'm scared of becoming a cold, scornful person, or even worse, an emotionless void, feeling nothing at all. I just want to be okay again and to go back to when she was nothing more than my closest friend, and that was perfectly fine. And, you know, the interesting thing about that is Obviously, we all know this, but we can't go back in time. We can't, a lot of times, we can't go back to the way things were before because that's how they were before and this is how they are now. Now that doesn't mean that they're always going to be the way they are now.
Right.
Because things change, things pass, right? It's one of my favorite prayers is Saint Teresa of Avila, let nothing disturb you, let nothing frighten you. All things are passing away. And that, there's more to it, but that one right there, that one little bit, all things are passing away, is such a great reminder. This feeling that you have right now, this bunched up, tied up, feeling, it's going to pass. I don't know how. I don't know when. I don't know what circumstances there are going to be. But it will pass. And the amazing thing is you will grow as a result of going through this. You will. So there are times when I go through a difficult time, and most of the time when we are in some kind of pain, mentally, emotionally, it's because we are resisting some kind of a circumstance. It's because we don't like it, and so we resist it. So we try and stand in opposition to it. But when we say to ourselves, okay, this is how this is. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. But you know what? It's what I've heard it so many times. It is what it is. My mom hates that phrase. So I
It's
say
what
it to
it's.
her all the time. Yes, I changed. I like that one too.
It's what it's.
A lot of times I say it's what it is, but then, it's like, well, that's boring too. It's what it's, that's the one. But we can't change what's happened. We can't. We can't go back and go to the way things used to be. And then there's going to be a time when this isn't the way it is anymore, and you won't be able to go back to this time either. Not that you would want to, but you won't be able to either. So how do you I should hit with that next time. It's what it's and it do be do.
You said it do be what it do be, and I said and it do be do.
Oh my gosh. So anyway,
it do be what it do be.
Here's the thing. How do you get through a time like this then? How do you get through the time when it's painful and when it's stressful and when it hurts and all that? How do you get through that? Well, first, I haven't talked about this guy in a while, but I used to talk about him all the time. Hal Elrod, who wrote The Miracle Morning and The Miracle Equation, he had the 5-minute rule. Where when something was going on that was bad in his life, he gave himself 5 minutes. He set a timer. And he was like, okay, I got 5 minutes. And I'm going to curse and yell and scream and punch stuff and do whatever I need to do. Yell into my pillow, cry, whine, whatever. I'm going to do all that stuff. And when that timer goes off and 5 minutes is up, I'm done. And he had a little bracelet that had CCI. Can't change it. And he's like, yep. So now this guy, he went through some crazy stuff. He got in a car accident, was dead for like 7 minutes. They brought him back to life. He's never walking again. I mean, like he was messed up, man. And like he had the best attitude in the whole hospital. Like they thought he was mentally they thought he was like
They thought he lost it.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, in denial.
Went crazy. But and so like the doctors were all worried about him. And so the doctor had him had his dad go talk to him and say, "Hey, are you really okay? Like, you act like you're okay, you sound like you're okay, everything, but you know, it's
But you
okay to
shouldn't be
feel
in this scenario.
bummed." Right, exactly. Like,
You should be okay.
yep. And he said, "Dad, I thought you knew me better than that. Don't you know I live by the 5-minute rule?" He's like, well, yeah, I think I remember you hearing something about that. Well, Dad, it's been 2 weeks. That's way past 5 minutes. Like, so, I mean, a lot of times it's just allowing ourselves to feel a certain way, allowing life to be a certain way, and saying, you know what? I am not going to fight it. I'm not going to resist it. I'm going to allow myself to have these feelings just wash over me. That's what I always picture. I always like when I'm feeling something really stressful and I get to that point, first I resist it. And then when I catch myself and I'm like, okay, I need to actually like let this happen, I allow all that pain and stress and whatever else, however else you want to describe it, I let it all just wash over me. Just and I just experience it. I experience the pain and the tension and everything. And I let myself do that. And then I come to grips with the fact that, okay, I can't change this circumstance, but that doesn't mean that it's going to last forever. And then one key ingredient is what Ryan was talking about. He mentioned it. He said, when you can respect yourself, how do you do that? I think the best way is to pursue virtues. Now, I don't always pursue virtues. I try. But, I'm glad that there's confession because I don't always do that. And so, but look up, the 7 cardinal virtues or, Ben Franklin's 13 virtues. And, you can look up, there's lists of things and you can find them and pick one and be like, okay, I'm going to get better at that one this week or this 2 weeks or whatever, however long of a cycle you want to put it at. I think Ben Franklin did his for a week at a time and he'd cycle through 13 once a week, every week. And, when you do that, you start to build that respect in yourself. Another thing you can do here in this case is exercise. And that would be supremely important, I think, in this situation because it's going to relieve some of this tension you feel, some kind of vigorous exercise, whether it's going for a run, doing some push-ups, I look over, I have a heavy punching bag like 5 feet away from me right there. So I gotta look over there like I could beat on that thing, but I can remember I remember having stressful days as an inspector. Some days just really stink. And I get home and all I want to do is lie around. And I know that that's not what I should do. If I want to feel better, the thing I need to do is work out. Girls seem to have this. They have this, like, they seem to have this intuitive thing where it's like, okay, if I'm feeling stressed out, I'm going to go for a run or I'm going to go for a walk or I'm going to go do something, like there's some physical thing I need to do and get some fresh air maybe and whatever. But
scream into a pillow and exercise your lung capacity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let it out.
No. Yep. But I would definitely do that. So, because what it's going to do is that'll do 2 things. It'll relieve some of that tension you feel and it'll get some of that energy. Like you've got a lot of this pent up energy. I mean, you have these feelings. That's energy. And you can't let it out. So it's all bound up inside you. To go and do some exercising is going to relieve some of that energy and get it out. and you will feel better about yourself. Your mind will be clearer. There are all kinds of benefits to this. So I would definitely see, if you haven't worked out at all for years, then start small. Maybe start just by walking or something. I would encourage against just going crazy your first day, because then the next day you're going to have some of this tension and you're going to be too sore to move. And it's going to kind of stink. So, but I would definitely move in that direction. So there's some practical things you can do. And with that, I'm turning it back to Ryan.
Honestly, I don't have a whole lot more, but I hope that this has been helpful. Let us know in the chat your thoughts. If you have any more questions or want us to, talk about any particular thing that we said a little bit more to explain it. But yeah, he said, thank you all for the advice. I can express how much I appreciate it. You're absolutely right, though. Self-love is something I've always struggled with, but it's time to learn how.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I totally get it. I remember, I think I might have talked about this last time, but I've talked about this a few times. One of the times at my all-time low of just not loving myself. And I was able to recognize it because of how I reacted to a situation of loving somebody. I was like, when you tell somebody that you love them and they don't respond with, I love you too, and then it hurts, I recognized, wait a minute, was I asking them only because I wanted to make sure that they loved me? And then they didn't, so it hurt. And I thought about it really hard, and I realized that, yes, that was why I said I love you. It wasn't because I loved it. Was in part, but really I was just looking for them to respond with it. And I was like, that's not good. And so I was like, all right, time to grow up quick, time to get myself right, because I'm on the wrong page. So that was, I totally get the notion of just feeling a lot of pain, because you don't love yourself. And, when things aren't loving you back, when you I remember being in a situation where it's I rely on other people to love me in order to feel love for myself. And I realized that that's something I need to change too. So I get it. And my point to saying that is, if that's where you are, you have all the ability to fix it. If that's where you are, don't be too concerned. Just get on top of it now, because you can fix it. You can fix it. Or you rather fix is not the right word, but you can change the way it is. You can change the way you think about yourself, and you just have to spend some time coming up with a plan and doing it, But I really like what Joe said with Ben Franklin's virtues. I think that's a perfect example of how to start going down that journey. Because it gives you real life things that you can think about and start doing. And my IQ is probably about 2
million.
Yeah. Wow, guys, you guys put me at 1,000 G's, so low.
I think that's off the chart.
Yeah, no, it's definitely off the chart.
I don't think the chart goes that high.
I have no idea what my IQ is, but I can't imagine it's that high. Not at all.
Yeah.
My point is, sure anyone can be doing it. Everyone's a genius. The thing is, it's not dependent upon your IQ. Everyone's a genius. There are people who've come up with all sorts of different things. I'm just like, wow, that's brilliant. It's just simple things like using a toothpick to do something, or opening a can a certain way. And I'm like, I never thought about that. Did you come with that? They're like, yeah, I've always done this since I was a kid. Your kid self is a genius. Anyways, I've got nothing. So it looks like we're at the 2-hour mark though. So I'm going to give it back over to Joe.
We are. And I got to tell you, Aaron, I am so sorry. I thought we might be able to get to both of them. But then when we started reading through this topic, I was like, yeah, this one's probably going to take a little while to unpack. So I'm sorry if you were waiting to hear us talk about your topic tonight, but we will get to it on Wednesday if you come back.
That's right.
They'll come back.
We will.
Yes. And so but yes, my apologies. And plus, I always hate trying to rush through topics, because, I just feel like we don't give it justice if we rush. You know what I mean? I just feel like,
Yeah. No, we tend to take our time, and maybe some people would advise against it, but it seems to be that way.
Mhm.
And it is what it is. It's what it is,
Yep.
guys. And I think that it's for the better.
Yeah, that's why we make this show 2 hours long,
Yeah,
and we still don't get to all the topics because,
that's right.
but yeah, I mean, I've heard radio guys that are on this strict timetable, and they do a really, really good job
Yeah,
answering
they do
those
incredible job.
questions, and they do things in a concise manner and they handle all this stuff, but you can always tell when they're rushing and they're trying
Yeah.
to get through as many as possible, and then it's just like, okay, that's I don't know. If I ever was to call into one of those shows, I know I'd have to call in like at the beginning, you know, like
Yeah.
right away, right at the beginning of the show. But at any rate, so I appreciate all of you guys for being here on
Yeah.
Don't Worry Wednesday. Make sure you go to bss.studio, go to the store. Again, the link is right here. The special, you can click the green banner at the top and you can see the Inktober special, 20% off the Criminal Idol Volume 1
Bam.
book for the whole month of October. You can just go ahead and copy and paste Inktober at checkout. So you got to get to the point where you're checking out, and then you can put the coupon code Inktober, 20% off, and then check out all the other stuff that's in there too. There's the plushies.
Yeah, you
Ryan
see how
has
cute
email.
this is? You want one of these?
You do. Yes. He's cool.
Yeah.
We've got the flash drive still. And you guys can actually see all the stock numbers on the website, so you know how many of those we have. We might have to order some more of the flash drives at some point. But at any rate, go there. Get the stuff you want. And come back on Friday for Free for All Friday. We don't have a topic yet, but I know it's going to be fun. Those of you who came last week and we were debating back and forth between what's better. That was so cool. And we
That was
had
great.
all you guys chiming in the chat too, like what you like better. It was so fun.
We had a
And-
bunch of fun.
Yep.
Anybody who was here for it, you just post in the chat if you had fun. It was great.
Mhm. Yep. And I think I don't know. I like the idea of hamburgers versus hot dogs or hamburgers versus tacos or something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah. Tacos versus hot dogs. I mean, they're really like the same thing. Not at all.
I mean, they both are kind of long.
Yeah, they both have this
folded.
going on. That's about it.
Yeah.
And they've got meat in the middle, so that's about it. Hey, they both have tomatoes.
Yes. Or you
And
could
onions.
say, ooh, nachos or walking taco. Have you ever had a walking taco?
Are you talking about the ones that are in the you open up a bag of Fritos
Yeah.
and you dump in like all the good stuff? Yeah. Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Walking taco, man.
Walking taco.
Or not versus nachos, because those are kind of similar.
They are similar,
Mm-hmm.
but they taste different.
They do. Yeah, it's the Fritos. Fritos are amazing.
Yeah.
But at any rate, we love you guys. Come back on Friday for Don't Fret Friday, or Don't Fret Friday for Free for All Friday. And then on Monday, we plan on doing Double Cup of Joe next week. For those of you who were wondering why it got canceled this week, it's a busy time these days, and Joe's moving and just got a new position, and there's all kinds of craziness going on. So, but we will be here. We plan on being here next Monday. So come back and check us out then too. Also, over the weekend, are you guys streaming on Twitch?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
We stream on Sundays right now. Our Saturdays are off, but yeah, we're still streaming on Sundays.
Streaming on Sundays. All right, good. So go check that out on the Twitch stream. I don't have the link in front of me.
I
Thinks
can type
probably
it.
does. But
twitch.tv/BSS_streaming.
okay. There you go.
There it is.
He's good. Yes.
Desi's got it.
Go
And Princess too.
there. All right. You guys are amazing. We will see you next time on Don't Worry Wednesday. You guys all have a wonderful week. See you next time. Take care.
See ya. Peace.